So before we begin, we have to decide what...
Stop taking a piss.
Mr. Varth will be having none of that. I am the only one who's allowed to be rude in this room, not you.
Yes, we will.
I'm the only one allowed to piss. I said
Order! Order!
Try these meth pills.
Order in the court! That means you have to sit down, Mr. Varth. That means sit your pathetic little backside down. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to VR Courtroom. Judge Fishface here. And today we're hearing the crimes against the Plagued One. Now, before we carry on, who is the prosecuting lawyer and who is the defense lawyer? Who's what?
I call defense.
Very well, Mr. Progester, referred to as the suggest from this point, shall be the defense, and Mr. Varth shall be the prosecution. Mr. Varth, as the prosecuting lawyer, you are allowed to proclaim the crime that Miss Plagued is accused of, so if you do not have a crime, I'll come up with one. What crime is Miss Plagued accused of?
Math.
Hey Google, pick a random word. Meretricious. I'm accusing you of meretricious. I have no idea what it means, but I'm accusing you of it. A perfect crime.
Okay, so what does it stand? What does meretricious stand for, Mr. Varth?
It means appearing as attractive but having no value as a person.
Oh wow, that is harsh, Jesus. That is basically Elon Musk levels of crimes we're doing here. In that case, Mr. Jester, would you be kind enough to go and shut the courtroom doors, please? They are currently open. They need to be shut.
Alright.
Oh, but come on, it's too hot in here. Can we open a window? Jesus Christ.
It's too hot in here because of your fat ass.
Sit yourself down, Mr. Progester. Right, Miss Plagued One,
Objection,
you
I'll
are
have a
accused.
mildly.
Order in the court, you loud, obnoxious little bastard. You may talk when I give you permission to talk, otherwise you must shut your trap. Otherwise I shall accuse you of being a fucking idiot and you shall be found guilty. That is entirely acceptable, however. Miss Plagued One, how do you plead to these heinous crimes of which you are accused of? You may shake your head or nod your head if you do not wish to speak.
Innocent?
A plea of not guilty has been entered, therefore we shall be moving on to a trial. As you know, we have no jury here, it is only the judge, so I will be the judge, the jury, and the executioner if required. Miss Plagued is accused of being meretricious, was it? Was that the word, Mr. Varth?
Yes.
Miss Plagued is accused of being meretricious, which basically means appearing beautiful whilst having no substance, so we shall refer to it as an Elon Musk from this point on, because I despise that man. We will be having a standard court case here. I will explain the procedure of court and the rules you are expected to follow. I will be asking the lawyers to go into the back rooms in a minute. You have a back room as justified by the doors here. There are 3 podiums in a court case. So, with all of that done to a side, I'm now going to lend the floor to Mr. Varth to make the opening... Oh, I appear to have gone down the stairs. Mr. Varth, I'm going to lend you the floor to make the
What did
opening
you stain this
statement.
with? This is a nice floor. You're lending this to me? Thank you.
Just make your opening
What am I
statement
doing
before
again?
I'm forced to stab you.
My opening statement, as you can see, to prove that she's meretricious, nice face, perfect face, skirt, thighs showing, doesn't even talk. When they talk, it sounds like someone's pissing in the background. I rest my case.
Okay, that is an opening statement I've heard. Thank you very much, Mr. Varth. Mr. Jester, would you like to take the floor and present your opening statement to the court, please?
I strongly believe that the Plagued One is innocent of the crime she's been accused of, due to her personality in the form of hobbies. Like, look at her.
Mr. Varth, shut up.
Look, like outfit, leggings, even the hair. Like, you can't get that normally. That shows some level of personality.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jester. Well, to be fair, you both more or less understood the concept of... Where have my hands gone? There's my hand. You both more or less understood the concept of opening statements, and that's better than a lot of lawyers. I have lost this hand. It's gone entirely, my left hand. So I've only got one hand now. Oh, no, there it is. Don't touch my camera, boy. So, well done on your opening statements, lawyers. I'm rather looking forward. I will find you guilty. I just punched my computer whilst reaching for a taser to tase you. I hope you're pleased with yourself.
You mean innocent? Wait, hold on.
I am pleased
Don't
with
you mean
myself.
innocent because he is technically the one...
I am the one.
Thank you. As opening statements have completed, I am now going to hand the floor over to Mr. Varth to present his case as he sees fit. He may present his evidence as well by turning his TV on and selecting the right piece of evidence. Mr. Jester may object as he sees fit, but must follow the rules of objections. Once Mr. Varth has presented a singular piece of evidence, then it will be Mr. Jester's turn to present evidence. So, Mr. Varth, have you turned your television on, or is it broken?
Which input is it? Is it HDMI 1, 2, or 3?
Oh no, it's AV. We are really out of date in this courtroom.
Oh, okay.
In fact, it might actually be aerial.
Oh,
It might.
okay.
Oh god, yeah. Yours is aerial. Go ahead, Mr. Varth.
Alright, anyways, so, as you can see, this is a box of matches.
Overruled.
Box of matches, light on fire. They're hot when you strike them. You strike Plagued One, she probably moans. Exactly like a box of matches. They're hot. Evidence number 2.
Hang on a minute,
lighter.
Mr. Varth. I'm now
A
going
lighter.
to allow Mr. Progester to present... Oh, actually, no. Actually, we will allow Mr. Varth to present his
I'm not
full and
done
frank
yet.
case, actually. I think that would be a better way to do it.
Yes.
So, Mr. Varth, do carry on.
A lighter is also hot, creates flames. See? Now. See the similarity? You can see the similarity, they're both blue. Now, see this. This is an artwork that they made, I found in their bedroom from 3rd grade. Has no substance. Nothing to it. It's boring. It's bland. Just like them. Can't you see the correlation? It's evident. The proof is in the pudding. Shaped dinosaur.
Go ahead with your objection, Mr. Jester.
I object. That piece of evidence is not what that is. You have not convened with our patient?
Client.
Defendant?
Client. I'll go with.
Client. You have not concerned with the client about the aspects of that figure. It is actually a priceless work of art made not even from a school kid. It was made in a famous French town that she had bought as an art collection.
Mr. Varth?
How'd she get the money to pay for it? Hoeing out?
No, you'll see my claims in a little bit of how she got money
Okay.
for it.
Before we carry on, Mr. Jester, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. What number am I thinking of?
You look like a 6 or... Yeah, 6 person.
Mr. Varth, what number am I thinking of?
I think you're thinking of 7.
Okie dokie. Please do carry on with your case, Mr. Varth, unless you finish.
I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
Very...
This is incriminating right here. And also, how are you gonna prove that they even bought it?
You'll see.
See the
You'll
thumbprint?
see.
There's a thumbprint
You'll
right
see.
there.
Shut
You
up.
compare it to
Mr.
Plague,
Jester,
same
Mr.
thumbprint.
Gesture, overruled. You must respect the other lawyer and not talk over them unless you do a proper objection. Don't
I'm
make
sorry,
me
Judge.
stick
I'm
an
sorry.
electric thing up your ass. Mr. Varth, what are you doing?
I think he
We'll talk about this later.
Mr. Varth, if you'd be kind enough to take a seat and you can leave your television on if you so desire. Well, that was an interesting prosecution case. Some very valid points of correlation, causation. Very, very interesting. I actually enjoyed that more than I thought because we were able to string at least one cohesive sentence together. Congratulations. I am now going to hand the floor over to Mr. Jester as the defense to make his claims as he sees them fit to do so. Mr. Varth, you may object as you see fit following the objection rules. Mr. Jester, the floor now belongs to you. Please begin.
Okay, first off, I would like to
Objection.
present...
Overruled. You didn't even let him get a word out, Mr. Varth. I know he did it to you, but I expect better of you. You're green, he's a robot. Shut up.
Lag spike.
Yeah,
Oh
green,
god.
green
You
supremacy.
caused him to have a lag
Green
spike,
supremacy.
Mr. Varth. You physically caused him to have a lag spike, Mr. Varth. This is completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable.
Green power.
Racist. Carry on, Mr. Jester, when you have
Give me
returned.
like a few more seconds.
Would you like me to give you a charge?
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, Mr. Jester, when you're
Sorry.
ready.
So, first off, I'd like to present this evidence, which is a worn book about the Tale of Two Cities. As you can see, it is very badly in shape. However, that is because it has so much personality, just like the Plagued One here, who had read this book 3 times. which shows some level of sophistication in their reading capacity, which shows a level of personality.
Objection.
Go ahead with your objection, Mr. Var.
Do they not have enough personality to search for other books? Why are they stuck on one single book? Do they
They
not
have multiple
relate to any
books.
other
That's
books?
just one I want to bring up.
Do they not relate to any other books?
Mr. Varth, I think this is
no,
a
there's like
similar
5 other
point to
books
yours
in
with
there.
the
I just showed
lighter,
them
how
because
it's
they're
a correlation between having a personality and reading books, whereas being a lighter and being blue, because you get hot because of a piece of mattress correlation. So I think the best thing you can do at this point is shut up and accept what he said.
Okay, may I continue to my second?
You may carry on with your evidence, Mr. Gesture.
Much like Voth had stated, he has bought a priceless piece of art from a French maker. Now, how did the Plague One possibly afford this? Her hobby, which is auto mechanics. This isn't fully in frame, but this is a gas of some sort that I had found in a personalized garage that the Plagued One works full time in. Now,
Objection.
Go ahead
Can't
with
see
your
the full
objection,
piece of
Mr.
evidence. How do
Varth.
we know that's not a folded dress? How do we know that's not a folded dress?
Mr. Progester, would you like to go and fetch that piece of evidence for examination by the court, please? Please bring me the piece of evidence. Mr. Varth, you sit yourself down there. Mr. Varth, you are not allowed in that room.
this
Hi,
is a
put
gas
down a-
canister that I found in their private workshop garage that they had used to fuel their passion and love for automobiles.
Hang on.
Whether it be customization, creation, or...
Oh, God, yes, that's gas. Oh, bloody hell. We can accept... Oh, God, it's like being at home. We can accept that that's gas, and it definitely had gas in it. Right, carry on your case, Mr. Varth.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
So, hey, he's stealing my evidence.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jester, I
I'm
called
stealing
you.
your evidence to huff it. Just ignore me.
He's stealing my evidence.
One bonus point to Gryffindor.
Okay,
Carry
you know
on,
what?
Mr.
I'm fine with
Jester.
that, I'm fine with that,
Gesture,
I'm fine.
carry on.
Okay, so as we had seen, she has a passion for automobiles. Now that shows a level of sophistication in the level of hobby work that she not only profits from, but is also extremely passionate about this. Do you or do you not agree? She agrees. Now, my final piece of evidence. Christ.
Objection. I'm not
Overruled,
That's a piece of
Mr.
evidence
Varth.
About the gas.
You have to wait until the judge says you can do things, and once again you objected before he even got to say anything. Henceforth, over bloody ruled. No.
I overrule your overrule. What are you gonna do about that one, huh? I triple dog overrule. Oh shit.
Mr. Varth, come here. Mr. Varth, come here. Come here, Mr. Varth.
Do it.
Come here, Mr. Varth. Come here.
Fish can't go on land.
Mr.
Beached
Varth.
whale.
Come here.
Beached whale.
He called you a beached whale. How
Mr.
do you feel about
Varth,
that?
proceed here and stand in front of me. Mr. Varth, I'm going to ask you to apologize for your statements about being a beached whale.
Why is my tracking weird? Hold on.
I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, that will do it.
Okay. May I continue with my case while you search
Not
for
yet,
tracking?
Mr. Jester. This must be sorted out first. Respecting the court is paramountly important.
Thank
Once
you.
Mr. Varth has figured out how to
Thank you.
stand up like a cow just being born, we shall carry on.
Oh.
Mr. Varth, are you alive at this point, or are you still completely pathetic?
No, I'm role playing as a born cow. Oh no, I can't stand.
Very good. Mr. Varth, I'd like to hear an apology. Back here, Mr. Varth. I'd like to hear an apology for the beach whale comment.
Damn it. I apologize.
Right.
Case.
My apologies, Mr. Jester. I said your name correctly. You may carry on with your case now that we have dealt with
So,
that.
this is a priceless work of art found in one of the common art franchises in France. Now, even going to France itself requires not only a high level of cash, but to also buy this is more cash, which means she is very passionate about her aforementioned hobby of beagles. Now, even having the right to buy one of these has to have some kind of credit, which means she is very well paid, as well supporting my claim about her automobile fascination. Now, this piece contributes to an art collection she is currently trying to collect. Am I correct with that statement? She has an art collection which shows a level of personality that she wants to buy and collect art, which I believe holds some level of merit to her person. I'm
Okay.
finished.
Okay, thank you. Just sitting there in silence and wondering what was going on. Very good. I must admit, two very interesting cases as presented by the lawyers. Thank you, Mr. Varth on the prosecution, and thank you, Mr. Jester, on the defence. Genuinely very, very pleased with that. Now, the only thing I need to do, and yes, I'm looking at the sky. Oh, bugger, where did I leave that? Don't you object to my sky gazing. Oh, I need
Yeah,
to...
Varth, don't object to stargazing, Varth.
Dreaming of sky
Varth, don't
travel.
object him.
I can't find... Oh, wait, no, there it is. I see you coming over, Mr. Jester. That's a very
those
bad
explode?
thing. Don't you dare touch my gavel, and don't you dare touch my taser. I'm actually collecting a coin because it's very important. Mr. Varth, don't fucking tase me. Don't
No.
you tase me, you naughty, naughty child.
What?
Right, okay, I appear to have fallen down here now, isn't that
gentleman.
fantastic? Right, I appear to be down here. Mr. Jester, I'm going to ask Mr. Varth first this time. Mr. Varth, heads or tails, old boy?
Tails.
Tails, very well. Yoink, I have dropped it. Very good, and very, very good. Well, I say.
What are you doing, step judge?
Well, I have to do my job. Now, where did I put my stream count? There it is. Right. As you know, we've had both a roll and a numbers game in this, and you don't know the results, but I do, and it's very paramount to the case. So, before we carry on, both lawyers have presented their cases in full, so we're moving now to closing statements. Closing statements are simple and concise statements about your case as you have presented it using all of the evidence that you have acquired. You may not object to closing statements, and I will be allowing Mr. Varth to make his closing statement first. So, Mr. Varth, if you would take to the floor one more time, perhaps you want to kiss it, maybe you want to lick it, I don't know, maybe you want to date it, and present your closing statement to the court, we would vastly appreciate that.
I think I'll pass on my closing statement. It's a hoe.
Okay, Mr. Varth, I've been thoroughly impressed with what you managed to put out so far, but that's possibly the first time I think I've ever seen anybody pass on their closing statement. So fair enough to you, Mr. Varth. There's a first time for everything, including being competent. And this is clearly the first time you've ever been competent in anything, so we can't expect too much. Mr. Jester, if you'd be kind enough to take the floor to present your closing statement, I would appreciate that greatly. Stop licking the floor.
All right. Let me
leave it to
fix
me.
my stream cam real quick. I believe that my client, the Plagued One, is innocent of the claims put against her because she has a personality which has clearly been shown through her vehicle hobbyist, which has earned her enough money for an art collection of France arts. And she also reads, which shows an intellectual
Ability.
ability. She has an intellectual...
No objections in closing statements,
No
Mr. Varth.
objections. She clearly has some level of intellectual capability because we know that she reads, and her favorite book is A Tale of Two Cities. And, okay, that's my closing statement.
Okay then, well that was most definitely an interesting case. Thank you, lawyers. You may now proceed to cry into a corner, if that fits your fancy at this point.
I don't like crying, I like farting.
Well, I'd rather you didn't do anything whilst I'm talking, because now we're going to move to the judge's summary, which... Actually, I said that. I do actually need the lawyers potentially to assist me a little bit here in ways that I wasn't expecting. Because in the courtroom,
Judges in
Mr.
name.
Varth, if you finished having a sad wank, would you mind taking your seat again? I do actually need you, old boy.
Varth, get out of here.
Oh,
He's
Mr.
not
Varth.
crying, he's sniffing the gas.
Mr. Varth, would you please turn your television
My
back on
other-
and head to evidence A, please? Because I'm going to need this for the judge's summary. Ah,
Alright,
lovely.
I'll turn it
Evidence
to
number...
News 10.
Hey, lovely. So, Mr. Varth's case begun
Nickelodeon,
talking
no.
about matches, how matches are rather inert and boring until you strike them and then they become hot. Miss Plague is also quite hot, and therefore, when you strike her, she becomes even hotter, apparently. Otherwise, she's quite inert and boring. Terminology of that word that I can't remember, Meretricious? An Elon Musk, we shall refer to it from this point. If you could please select evidence number B, please, Mr. Varth. Evidence number B.
Regional indicator B.
The next piece of evidence was a lighter. It does exactly the same thing as a match. It gets hot when you click on it, and it's blue, much like the hair of Miss Plague Ones. No objections during the judge's summary, you stupid bastard. Therefore, it is the same, and this is a correlation indicating that because a lighter is the same as matches, and the lighter is the same as Miss Plague, then Miss Plague is the same as matches and lighters, therefore only gets hot when you strike her, is quite hot anyway, but rather dull and inert and blue, apparently. Not really sure how it goes there, but it is what it is. And if you could move to evidence number C,
You find them on the
please.
street all the time.
This was... I don't remember exactly what this was, Mr. Varth. Could you just quickly reiterate what this was? It was like pretending to be an art piece or a toy or...
Contrary to what Jester has been telling you, this is a thing made by them in 3rd grade.
That was it.
Clay
Thank you, Mr.
sculpture
Varth.
of what appears to be a
Thank you, Mr.
dinosaur.
Varth. That's all I needed to hear. I had forgotten exactly what it was. So this was an object made by Miss Plague, allegedly in grade 3, a dinosaur, which is quite static and boring, but is attempting to look like it has some form of personality. Much like Miss Plague, as she was found guilty of the crime that she is accused of. What was the word? Meretricious? No objections during judge's summary, you stupid bastard! Stop it! Otherwise there will be consequences. The next person who hits objection will have a 90% chance of losing their case. So don't bloody do it. And that was the case as presented by the prosecution. We now move over to the defense. Mr. Progester, if you could select your first piece of evidence, please. The first piece of evidence was this very tattered and well-used copy of A Tale of... I have fallen down the stairs, I'm clever. A Tale of Two Cities, which is very tatty and well used. Miss Plague has read this book many, many times over, and that would indicate that she is intelligent and has a personality, because reading books gives you a personality, which is an undeniable fact in some ways. For example, I am a complete and utter furry, and you could very heavily argue that that's mainly because I read the Dinotopia books when I was young. But that's just the way things are sometimes. If you could move on to evidence number B, please, Mr. Progester. Now, this is a container of gasoline, although there's a hell of a lot less gasoline in there, since I made sure it was gasoline and he made sure it was huffable. That was found in a custom garage that Miss Plague operated. Miss Plague works heavily on automotives to make large amounts of money to supplement a collection of fine and exquisite arts. This was put up as proof that this is what she does for a living. If you could select option number C, please, Mr. Jester. Number C was the same piece that was allegedly made in 3rd grade, but is also allegedly an incredibly, amazingly fine piece of art found in Miss Plagued One's collection, brought from France, which I'd like to point out, we kept going on about France, it's French. This is a France piece of art. No, it's a French piece of art. Don't object. That's 90% chance of losing your case now. I told you not to object.
I think the lack of terminology in their case overrules the fact that I think this evidence should be overturned.
Personally, I think that he's just a bit of an idiot. However, I was handed through a mobile phone that I have in my long sleeves, which I have definitely read, and you can't check this. I did it when you were huffing paint and you were doing whatever the fuck you were doing. I did actually have a lookup on this particular object. Now, obviously, I went to the Louvre, and I went to the Galerie du Français, and I went to all the auction places, and did a search for this particular item to see if it was ever sold in France. And unfortunately, this item was never sold in France. In fact, if we look on the underside, it actually doesn't really say anything. Excuse me, Mr. Progester! I am fucking talking! I believe... Where's he gone? He's what? He's fuck it. Anyway. The point was he can't even get through the doors! What are you doing, man?
I ended up finding it on archives for the book fair at school.
Allow me to finish the point I'm making, because this also explains the roles, because as you know, there were 2 of them. Mr. Progester, are you coming back, or are you gone? Come along, Mr. Progester. Please
I think
take
that
a
was
seat.
a bad idea to let my enemy in.
No, it's fine. It is the respect in court that I would expect, so thank you. As I was saying, this particular item does not have a maker's mark on it that you would expect to find from an artist, or a made in China tag, which you expect to find from some kind of cheap thing found from China. So I would indicate that this object was most likely made by Miss Plague at some point during her school career. A homemade object. It would also explain the technical shoddy craftsmanship that you would find in such an object if you were a child making something along these lines. What that means is that Mr. Varth... he's gone again. Mr. Varth won both the coin toss and the numbers game, so that goes incredibly in his favour. However, if I were to look at the evidence, which has now turned into a gun apparently...
No, that's just an L.
I think you're just threatening me at this point, aren't you, Mr. Progester? That's you should... You know, here's the thing, the opposing lawyer over here is actually following the rules of the court, so I'm gonna fucking... I've ruined my stream cam now. God damn it, I've ruined my stream cam because of you. Hope you're fucking happy. Get out my seat. I'm not done yet. I'm not finished yet. Sit down.
Hey,
If I...
rigged against me.
Order. Order.
He took my
Mr.
gun.
Progester, as I was saying, your opponent won
It
both the
missed.
coin toss and the numbers game, which means I must go in his favour for that piece of evidence. However, that doesn't mean he's automatically won the case. It just means that I've gone in his favour for that. You stupid shit. However, your complete disregard for the way the court is running makes me very much want to rule in his favour just to spite you. So would you do me a favour and shut the fuck up before I throw this grenade so far down your left fucking eye socket it comes out your right fucking nipple?
Can I stab
Thank
him with a
you.
gun?
Missed.
Thank you. You can sit the fuck down there. Right, as I
No,
was saying.
I just walked in here. I'm just as confused.
Thank you kindly.
Hey, go
As
sit
I
down,
was
go sit.
saying,
That's my witness.
this... Well, the case is over, so witnesses aren't relevant now. But this piece of evidence is passable to be in the possession of Miss Plagued One because she made it in school at some point during her career. Although that cannot be 100% confirmed, this is not an artistic piece made in France at any way, shape or form, time whatsoever. However, having heard that, I now have to come to a judgment summary of the cases as they were presented. And frankly, the cases were actually pretty good. They were very evenly matched, and I actually really like them. Considering how much you two were both fucking around, this has actually been a very entertaining court case, and it's a surprisingly difficult decision. Bearing in mind that some things that the defense have said have been proven to be not technically correct, and some things the prosecution has said are proven to be fucking stupid, it's a difficult one to call, and I do have to call it. So, based on the cases as they have been presented to me, and the evidence that it has been presented, I find although the prosecution has put forward an interesting case, they are relying very heavily on circumstantial evidence, especially in relation to how matches are a person. And we cannot relate matches to people because matches are not people. And although I think it was a very clever way to describe somebody who is meretricious, I don't think it is enough to convict Miss Plagued One of being meretricious. I also believe that reading a book is technically a personality as of such,
What kind of court
and
case did I walk into?
a clever one that
she
requires
had
you
any
to be quiet,
personality.
Mr. Steves. Thank you kindly.
So just
And as I was
we
saying,
were trying to think of something
Order.
to pick them of, and I asked Google for a word.
Mr. Varth,
We
please.
can explain that.
Mr. Varth, I'm almost done. You can explain this in just a moment. Let me just finish, because then I can fucking stop and cry! Jesus!
Haze me, bitch.
I would, but I don't know where the taser is, because they fucking took it anyway! As I was saying, I do not think the evidence presented by the prosecution... Please don't. Was... No, thank you. Thank you kindly. I do not believe that the case presented by the prosecution is strong enough to pass a conviction, and I do believe that evidence presented by the defense, although one piece of evidence has been disproven, therefore they're a lying bastard, I do believe that running your own auto mechanic shop does include creating a character, whether you are pretty doing it or not. You do have a personality, and that reading a book can also help you have personality, because books are wonderful adventures into God knows what. In fact, you could believe that the person who made this entire courtroom and allowed me to be a fish judge most likely read a book at some point, giving them the personality to create this. Therefore, as much as the defense lawyer has incredibly annoyed me in the past 5 minutes, and I want to find him guilty of contempt of court and have him fucking stripped down for spare parts to go into fucking iPhones, I must find Miss Plagued One innocent of the crime of being meretricious, and therefore release her from any crime. Mr. Progesture, please come and stand next to me. Please come and stand here. Mr.
No, you're gonna tease me!
No, please listen to me. You have won the court case. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. I feel like I actually took it fairly seriously on some parts. I know towards the end I kind of fell apart, but I do believe that this was an interesting experience, and I kind of wish I formulated my evidence a bit more cohesively.
I mean, I do these court cases a lot, so you're fine. And Mr. Varv, how do you think that went?
Thumbprint. Thumbprint. I feel like putting thumbprints on their...
Miss Plague, you're free to go.
Yeah, I think that
You know, you don't have to zap them out of existence.
You say that, but I am the judge. I can do whatever I want.